Hello and welcome to the Service to School Stories podcast. You'll hear from veterans and partners who'll share their stories and insights about how you can use higher education to transition from the military and achieve your goals. Now let's get going.
Welcome to Service to School Stories, the podcast dedicated to helping service members and veterans navigate the journey from military service to higher education. I'm your host and the Director of VetLink for Service to School, Whitney. Today, we're shining a spotlight on a trailblazer in the veteran student community. We have Kloey Albertson. Kloey served in the United States military. After completing her service, she made the decision to pursue a college education. Her journey hasn't just been about earning a degree, it's been about opening doors for other veterans, especially women, to follow in her footsteps. So we're going to talk about her military career, her decision to go to college, the ups and downs of the admissions process that she experienced, and of course, navigating campus life. Kloey is also passionate about supporting other female veterans, so she is going to be working with us on our all-female cohort to bring more women into our partner institutions and into higher education. Kloey, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me.
All right, so let's start from the beginning. Let's talk about your military background. Can you share a little bit about your service?
Yeah, so I spent 4 years on active duty as a human intelligence collector. I was stationed at Joint Base Lewis McChord in Washington State for that time, and I'm now in the Army Reserves. I've been doing that for almost 3 years now.
Very nice. So you're still having to navigate military and higher education at the same time.
Yeah, it's tough, but I'm making it work.
Its own challenges.
Yeah.
How is Brown when it comes to navigating being a reservist?
It's actually pretty good. I lose a lot of study time on the weekends that I have to go to drill, obviously, but my professors have always been incredibly understanding. They're always willing to, hold extra office hours or just have meetings with me to go over the content that I may have missed in class, give me an extension if we have something due like that following Monday. So yeah, it's been a really great experience on the Brown side of things.
Good. So they're incredibly supportive of your service even now.
Yes.
So let's go back to that service. Was there any type of specific moment during your time in the military that you knew that you were going to go into higher education, that was the next step in your path?
Yeah, so I kind of always knew that. I did a year of college before I joined the Army, and I was kind of a little bit lost. I was on a pre-med track. I wasn't super certain about it. I was going into a lot of debt. And so I decided to take a break from that and join the military. And my plan was always to kind of do one contract and then go back to school. And so when I was still in, I did consider re-enlisting. I talked to retention, looked at all of my options, and I decided that school was the next best thing, or the best next step, I should say, for my journey.
Okay. Actually, a really common thread for many of our service members of, trying to go to school. It doesn't really quite stick. Military gives you that perspective that you need to realize what the true next step is.
Yeah.
The college admissions process, it can feel really overwhelming for civilians, and it's even more overwhelming when you're a service member and far from, not traditional. Did you face any unique challenges or experiences in your application?
Yeah. I felt in the beginning, I felt like I was the only person going through this, right? So when I started working with Service to School, it was like, whoa, I'm not alone. And there are like all of these problems that I thought I was having had already been attacked by other people, I guess. So there were a few schools where, if I wanted to transfer, they wanted like specific math classes that I hadn't taken. And so I was like, oh, well, maybe I can't transfer there. And there were a lot of things like that that I was very concerned about in the beginning. But then, working with Service to School and having a resource to really help me navigate that process was invaluable and made it significantly easier.
Did you have to do any type of pre-planning for your applications? In the sense, did you have to take any courses, or did you do any type of pivots to accommodate so that you could be competitive?
No, actually. So when I was on active duty, I was doing some classes online already. And then I did this program. I don't know if it's Army-wide or if it's just at JBLM, but it was called Vi 25. And so I spent the last 6 months of my contract just doing college courses. And while they weren't applicable to what I'm doing now and they didn't really transfer, it still showed that I was able to succeed in the classroom. And so I already had that. And that was something I was already planning to do anyway. So I didn't have to do anything extra. I didn't go to community college after I got out before coming to Brown, like I know some people do. And I didn't have to take like the ACT or SAT, which I was super happy about too. I was worried about that one.
A lot of people are. It does dictate sometimes your college list based on your ability to, want to take one of those exams.
Yeah.
So Brown wasn't the only school that you applied to, correct?
Correct. So Brown was my number one choice, and they do rolling admissions. So I submitted my application for Brown as soon as I could. And then I did submit for a few other schools as well before Brown got back to me, but it was like a month. So I did the binding application to Brown. And then when I found out that I was accepted, I withdrew all of my other applications. So I didn't actually, I had a list. I applied to like 5 by the time that I started withdrawing them.
Okay. So looking back, is there anything you kind of wish you would have known before starting your applications?
Wish I would have known. How to write. I don't know. I'm a really bad writer, and so thankfully my ambassador was incredibly helpful with that and telling me, because like I would send him a first draft and he'd be like, this needs a lot of work, and I was like, okay. Yeah, I think knowing how much time it takes to really craft a good application as well is something that I wasn't anticipating. Especially when applying to like multiple schools, and I didn't even apply to that many compared to some of the people I've talked to. But yeah, it takes a lot of time, and I wasn't anticipating that.
Yeah, there are no such thing as last minute applications.
No.
If they do, it's that's a difficult one. But I'm so glad that you mentioned that, because it does take a lot of kind of planning and drafts, multiple drafts of your essays and things like that. You actually are going to be kind of working with us a little bit on this all-female cohort, and hopefully being able to support other female service members who are looking to make that similar transition. What made you want to kind of do that for us and give back?
Yeah, so when I got to Brown, I was the only female veteran in my class of 23, I think. And so obviously I was like, dang, that sucks. And then I didn't realize that was a trend across the board until last year. I went to the Ivy League Veterans Council conference, our annual conference down at UVA. And there we talked with, I think it was some women from Princeton and Dartmouth. And I was having a conversation with them about how they're also like the only women in their whole school. I think we have, of our like 60 something vets, we have like 5 women total on campus. So I realized that was a problem across the board and not just Brown specific, because I had previously actually brought that up to our Office of Military Affiliated Students as well here. And once I realized that was an across the board thing, I thought if people aren't going anywhere, then I should take a step back and look at the application process. And that's why I reached out to you guys to see if that was something we could make happen.
Thank you for doing that. I think it's incredibly important to have other female service members be able to talk about the process, to talk about, the fact that you belong. You belong on these campuses. Yes. You belong in these classrooms. Your voice deserves to be heard. And it really and truly, every time I get to potentially speak to a female applicant, I'm like, oh my gosh, you're like my unicorn. I'm always incredibly excited. I don't know what it is, and maybe you have a little bit more insight into this, but why do you kind of, and again, there's no right answer to this one, of why do you think that we don't have more female service members applying?
I don't know, and I'm very torn about that, but through talking with other people, I think one of the things that was mentioned that kind of stuck with me is the fact that military women or female service members, are getting out and starting families. And so I don't know if school is maybe on their list of priorities because they're having children, or I don't know. That was just something that was brought up to me as a possibility, and I could see how that would be a difficult transition. I don't have children, so I don't have to deal with that, but I can imagine how difficult that must be for those who do. So,
well, as someone who has children, has gone to school with children, has navigated that whole process multiple times,
yeah.
it is possible. It is 1000% absolutely possible. Many of the schools that we actually partner with, if there are any female service members hopefully listening to this, are incredibly supportive and offer a lot of resources for for parents and for the children. So it shouldn't be a barrier. Having children should not be a barrier for you being able to go to school. Even at the more elite schools, they know that is a challenge, and they are trying to pull out all the stops to make sure that you are able to go and attend and have incredibly supportive faculty and staff to help you navigate that as well. So you are now at Brown, doing amazing things, getting a degree in biophysics. What has it been like to kind of build that sense of community and find your footing on campus?
Yeah. So I got super involved with the military community as soon as I got here. We spend orientation with other vets, so I made a really close friend group there. And then my sophomore year, I decided to run for our SVA chapter here at Brown, the Student Veteran Society. And so I'm the president of that now. And then last year, we also had a club, the Military Women at Brown, that was created. And that was female veterans and also ROTC cadets as well. And that one was pretty hard just because of the small amount of numbers that we had. But it was a good spot to still come together and find community. And so, yeah, I'm super involved with the whole military community here. And that's kind of where I sink my teeth in, I guess.
So at Brown, do you know what type of supports and stuff that they have for our service members, or just supports in general that you have been able to take advantage of?
Supports in general. That's a big question. I know as a service member, the Office of Military Affiliated Students is amazing. They're incredibly helpful. Anytime I have any issue, I just go straight to them, and they're quick to help me sort it out. But even aside from that, like, I know there's multiple deans in the college who are always willing to listen to students and hear their concerns. I've met with President Paxson, and she really wanted to hear about, our experience as vets on campus too. So vet specific, there's a lot of resources. In general, I don't really know. There's a lot.
Trust me, we know that there's probably too many to actually cover. But you became part of our student advisory board last cycle, correct? Or last term?
Correct. Yes.
Can you talk to me a little bit about that? Kind of why you decided to join our student advisory board?
Yeah. I think I've made it kind of clear. I really like giving back to that community, right? So when I think it was Jacob approached and asked if I wanted to be on the board, the obvious answer was yes. It seemed like just a really good way to, admissions aside, talk about the issues that vets are having on campus. And that was also, really important to me, as I'm still really involved with all of that. So it was a no-brainer. I just want to help out. I love giving back.
So you're not just advocating for yourself, you're advocating for the students of Brown, and of course for female service members across the board, and building that community, that camaraderie but like amongst all of our, partner institutions. I really appreciate your being able to give back to other service members and to advocate as well. Okay, so why do you think it's important to be able to create kind of the female-focused spaces and support systems for, female service members navigating higher education?
There's a lot of reasons. I think, even just being in the military, I didn't always necessarily feel like I belonged there and was good enough to be there, I guess you could say. Because, I'm weaker than all of the guys. I'm slower than all of the guys, right? So there was always just like this feeling of like, I don't belong here. And then I also didn't have many other women around me to lean on for support. And so when I came to Brown and I was also the only woman, it's like, this sucks. I don't I love having my veteran community, but I also love women. Like I want to be around other women too. And so just knowing how much it sucked from my experience, I'm just assuming, I guess, that other people also want that community as well. And so, yeah, I think just being there for people who are also going through that difficult transition is really important. And you can't succeed in a place that you aren't comfortable. And so having a community and having people to lean on when things get hard is incredibly important, especially at a place like this where sometimes you're in the trenches and you just need that support.
I agree. I absolutely agree. So knowing that there's since you have transitioned in 2023, there have been more female service members on campus now at Brown, correct?
Yes. So my year I was the only one. Last year, 3 were accepted, and this year 2. So
Okay, so we're expanding.
yes, we're expanding.
That's good. We need more. We absolutely.
Yeah.
There's plenty of space for more female service members to apply.
Yes, please, please.
So have you then, obviously you said that you had reached out to the ILVC and everything else. Other than maybe potentially starting like having the Brown chapter of female service members, have you looked at maybe starting like a women's ILVC? Since there's a handful of you at Brown, maybe work with the, Princeton and Harvard and Yale's.
Yeah, I haven't thought to do that, but I'm going to do that today. I'll reach out. I think that's a really good idea. Yeah, because I know I'm not the only one who felt that way too. At the conference, we all had a conversation about it, and we're all feeling like this isn't proportionate, So,
exactly. Well, until it is proportionate, I say band together.
Yes,
band together
absolutely.
Be able to at least commiserate and talk about, your experiences at all the different schools, obviously. Now, Brown, what exactly drew you to Brown? Like, why did you want to go to them?
So I didn't even know Brown existed when I started my school search. And then I went to one of the info webinars that you guys do, and Dean Powell was there talking about Brown, and he mentioned the Veterans Initiative, which is their plan to bring more vets into the school. And that really stuck to me because I was very worried about finding my community. And so that was a huge thing that I knew I would come here and I would have other vets who, who have had similar experiences and I would fit in somewhere. And then just looking more at the school, the open curriculum is insane. Like, why would I not want to do that? It's in a great location. Yeah, there's so many things. I love this place. It's like so happy. The culture is just so welcoming. Everybody's so friendly. And so it's just everything about it made it the perfect school.
I'm glad. I think it's very important to, it's not just about the schools that you apply to and the name and everything else. It's also about making sure that they're going to be the proper fit for you.
Yes,
and
that
your
is
situation.
That is something that I really try to convey to a lot of people that I meet who are going through that transition process. It's like, yeah, everybody wants to go to a school that everybody's heard of, right? Everybody wants to go to the most prestigious school, but if you go there and you don't have a community, you're not feeling comfortable, you're not going to thrive in that environment. And so it's important to find a place where you feel comfortable and you're at home and you're truly happy so that you can focus and thrive in the classroom.
So you're an ambassador for us. How do you recommend that your applicants figure that out?
Talking to current students and networking that way is a really big thing. So I have, kind of my network through the ILVC, and I have a couple friends who went other places. So anytime I have an applicant who's looking at a specific school, I try to put them in contact with somebody who is at that school so they can learn more about the culture and what to expect if they actually do go there. Because it's one thing to read online, what the school might be like, but it's another to talk to a student who's actually there. And if I don't have somebody there, reaching out to like their Office of Military Affiliated Students equivalent can even be helpful as well.
This is where I will also say, reach back out to your advisor. We have a whole database of students that have gone through us that are going to these schools. As an ambassador, don't be afraid to email one of us and say, hey, do you have a student at this school? We can even go in and figure out if we have anybody with a Marine Corps background, a Navy background, and try to get them in contact as well. We have no problem with being able to do that. So highly encourage either ambassador, let us know, or student, let us know, and we will absolutely, try to do that and make that happen as well. So, because again, best fit, incredibly important.
Yes.
How did you figure out that you wanted to go into biophysics?
So I mentioned that I was pre-med the first time I went to school.
Yeah.
When I came to Brown, I also did my applications again on pre-med stuff. I thought I wanted to be pre-med again. And then I got here and the open curriculum is crazy. So I was just taking classes everywhere I could. I considered international public affairs for a little bit because of my military background. I was like, oh, this is like, it's very translatable. But then, I took some classes there and I just felt drawn back to the science world. And so I started taking science classes again. I went to biomedical engineering, which was what I originally intended to do on my application, and did that for a little bit and then realized I couldn't finish that degree in time. So I had to pivot to something I could finish in time. So that's how I ended up in biophysics.
So my question then is, obviously you're going to Brown because it's going to hopefully potentially launch your career and everything else. How is Brown supporting you and, transitioning, not just getting, to the school, but actually through and graduation and career?
Yeah, we have a really great, what is it? Center for Career Exploration, something along those lines. They're super helpful when it comes to, networking and trying to find your fit that way. And then the Office of Military Affiliated Students, they focus a lot on hosting like professional development events and networking events where we can, meet each other and also learn more about all of these other opportunities. So there's a lot of things like that. We have Brown Connect where we can talk to alum and stuff like that as well. And then what I've been doing, because I would like to go into medical research after Brown. And so one way that I've been exploring that is by just cold emailing researchers and professors who are doing stuff that I want to do. And they're always more than willing to meet with me. Like I just met with one this week. And that's a really helpful way to learn more about what I might want to do after this. And then, yeah, the alumni network is pretty strong. We have BUMAC, the Brown University Military Affiliated Community, I think. It's a super strong alumni network. So, yeah.
So access. You have access to a lot of opportunity
Yes.
there.
Yes,
It's
a ton.
And a big piece of it is also what you make of it. And clearly
Yeah.
you are pulling out all the stops to try to make absolute maximum use of everything that you have access to.
Yeah.
Kudos to you, especially cold emailing. That's scary. Let's be honest.
It is at first, but yeah, I mean, I think, people always want to go to these schools because they're so prestigious. And it's like, yes, I'm getting an amazing experience in the classroom, but it's not just what you're learning in the classroom. It's the people that you're connecting with and what you can learn about like that. And in that in and of itself is incredibly invaluable.
Yeah, it's not just opening the door. It's kind of, okay, now you're there. What are you going to do about it? Like, what are you going to do with it? So it takes a lot of initiative on the student's part to maximize that experience. And again, my husband being part of this, you can make use of it however you want. You could be as involved or not involved, and hope that the degree just gets you potentially where you want to go. So lots of opportunities to not just get you to Brown, but actually successfully through it. And of course the career on the other side, because you're not doing this just to have a degree from Brown. You're doing this for the career opportunities on the other side of it as well.
Yeah.
So as we are kind of coming to a close on things, for any of our female veterans that are listening who are considering higher education, what advice would you give them?
Don't self-select. That is the biggest thing I'll say. I almost did. I tried to, and my ambassador was like, no, you're not doing that. And I'm so glad that he didn't let me. But yeah, don't self-select. It is possible. It's very doable. I'm here, like, there's so many people who you think, like, I'm just from a little city in Missouri. I never thought that I would be at an Ivy League school, right? But it's possible. If you put in the work and it's something that you really want to do, just try. What's the worst they're going to do? Say no? Like, okay, then you try again, or you pivot your plan, but don't self-select. Please don't self-select.
Absolutely. And Kloey, you're one of many female service members at our partner institutions that are doing absolutely amazing things. We cannot say enough how just proud we are to be able to have even been like a tiny little piece of your journey. You obviously, took it and made it exactly what it is today. So kudos to you. But to any female service members that are listening, Kloey is one of many more that we do have that they took a chance and they are excelling in a way that I am beyond proud of being able to say that we've had a tiny little hand of, but it's truly all of you, the perseverance, the just pure initiative that you have taken to just take your education and your career and make it exactly what you want it to be. I am beyond proud of what you guys have been able to accomplish. So yeah, Kloey, I think that's kind of what we have for today. I really appreciate it. Are there any last minute kind of parting words that you might have for anybody listening?
Yeah. If you're interested in transitioning, obviously reach out to Service to School. They're a really great resource, but my email is always open as well. Please, if you have any questions and just want to chat to a student, feel free to reach out, and I'm more than happy to, take a phone call or something.
I love that. We don't gatekeep here. We pull up the next one right behind us.
Yes.
So Kloey, thank you so much for sharing your story, for everything that you're doing to help other service members succeed in higher education. Your journey absolutely shows that the skills and resilience built in the military don't just carry over to college. They make you a leader on campus and beyond. So for our listeners, if you are a female service member thinking about higher education, know that you're not alone. We have programs for you. We have an all-female cohort that we're doing to support. We also have our student advisory board that Kloey has also participated in. And of course, we have incredibly supportive campuses like Brown University and many of our other partner schools that are here to help you and to make sure that you are successful, and not just in your education, but also in your career. So that is actually all for this episode of Service to School Stories. I'm Whitney Kaysen. Thank you for listening, and we'll see you next time.
That's all we have for this episode. Join us next week, same time, same place, where we share more Service to School stories. Service to School Stories is hosted by Sydney Mathis, Chief Program Officer, and Alec Emmert, Service to School CEO. Our podcast is produced and edited by our Director of Communication, Amanda Tobias. Service to School is a 501c3 nonprofit providing free college admission support to transitioning service members and veterans. Join us next week and follow us for more on your favorite social media platforms.